Most horror lists recycle the same 5 weak classics you've already seen a million times, but this list reveals 10 Shudder originals so bizarre and unsettling, including the Norwegian body horror gem The Ugly Stepsister and the silent, ritualistic hellscape of Asriel, that they shatter every horror expectation you have, forcing you to reconsider what a truly scary movie is. I've analyzed hundreds of hours of films to distill this specific list. We're starting with the unique psychological terror and building to the true body horror masterpiece and the silent nightmare fuel. By the end, your reality of what horror is will crush your previous expectation. We start the countdown at number 10 with a film that uses words instead of gore to induce psychological panic, Pontypool.
All terms of endearment. For greater safety.
Set entirely in a snowbound Canadian radio station, this psychological horror follows jaded morning radio host Grant Mazzy. Strange reports flood in, mobs behaving violently, speaking nonsense, and losing their identities. Mazzy discovers the virus isn't airborne, it's word-borne. Certain English words are infecting people, turning them into raving lunatics. Most of the terror happens off-screen, told through transmissions. This makes Pontypool a terrifying exercise in psychological horror and the power of language. Now, if you thought a high-concept idea like language as a virus was unique, wait until you see what happens when the cult believes silence is a sin. At number 9, we have The Medium. A film that starts slow and culturally deep before spiraling into pure nightmarish chaos. This found-footage mockumentary was Thailand's official Oscar entry and follows Nim, a shaman believed to be possessed by a local deity. The exploration of shamanistic traditions quickly turns horrifying when Nim's niece, Mink, starts showing signs of possession, not by the deity, but by something far darker and more malevolent. The film builds tension with eerie realism before going completely bonkers in the third act, with zombie-like ghosts and ritualistic mayhem. It leaves a lasting, unforgettable mark due to its brutal imagery and suffocating atmosphere. Next, at number 8, we have The House of the Devil.
Are you not the babysitter?
A slow-burn satanic panic film that proves a simple setup can mask a deadly ritual. Samantha Hughes, a cash-strapped college student, takes a seemingly simple babysitting job in a remote, creepy house. She is told she is caring for an elderly mother-in-law, but as the night progresses, Samantha realizes the strange family is involved in a satanic cult, and she's been lured into their dark ritual during a lunar eclipse. The film's tension builds slowly, focusing on Samantha's growing unease before the fight for survival intensifies. It's a deadly game she never signed up for.
Sit inside and watch TV. This is huge. This one night changes everything for me.
Moving to number 7, we find Revenge.
You're a real bad girl.
If you're tired of predictable horror tropes, this pitch-black comedy will surprise you with its raw, witty, and weirdly touching take on loss. Written, directed, and performed by Alice Lowe while she was 8 months pregnant, the film follows Ruth, a grieving, expectant mother. She believes her unborn baby is commanding her to take bloody revenge on those responsible for her partner's death. It was shot in just 11 days. This film is a bold exploration of motherhood, loss, and identity, mixing eerie humor with emotional depth, something only British cinema could pull off.
Listen to the sound of my voice.
Maybe knows best.
Our expectations are constantly being upended, and at number 6, The Twin is
The sight of your fetch
Evil twin.
is an omen for coming death.
one of those movies that sounds simple but hits much deeper than expected. The story follows Roman, a man grieving the death of his identical twin brother who joins a support group. He meets Dennis, a quirky and lonely man who also lost his twin. What begins as a lighthearted bond with awkward humor slowly unravels into something haunting and unsettling. The sharp writing keeps you constantly guessing, leveraging the grief of twin loss into a deep psychological horror that explores identity and dark bonds.
What's happening to me?
Nick read this story as a child.
Halfway through our list at number 5 is Dangerous Animals.
And you and me, we fend for ourselves. We're sharks.
A wild Australian horror thriller that proves you don't need a huge budget to make a great, fast-paced movie. This is one of the most surprising films of 2025, a shark horror you absolutely didn't see coming. The plot follows a shark-obsessed madman who kidnaps people and feeds them to great white sharks. The main character, a fearless surfer, gets caught in his twisted plan, but fights back. It's scary, fast-paced, and full of unexpected thrills, delivering high-intensity jump scares while defying typical creature feature expectations. At number 4, we have the South Korean found footage thriller Gonjiam Haunted Asylum,
여기 다른 데랑 레벨이 좀 다른 것 같아. 여기 지금 우리 말 따라야 되는 거 아니야?
which nails that creepy, realistic vibe. This is a must-watch if you crave spine-tingling found-footage horror. It follows a group of live-streaming thrill-seekers who break into a real abandoned asylum. Their goal is to unlock the secrets of the notorious Room 402. It uses GoPros, drones, and split-screen cams to drop you directly into the action. While it doesn't reinvent the genre, the atmosphere is next level. It builds slowly, then hits you hard in the final stretch with seriously intense scares, making it feel incredibly immersive. Moving into our top 3, we have Oddity.
This is not real.
A 2024 Shudder original that is the perfect blend of atmospheric horror and psychological tension. The story begins with Dani's mysterious death after a terrifying encounter in her isolated Irish home. A year later, her widower returns with a new girlfriend, unaware of the dark forces lingering there. Things escalate when Dani's sister, Darcy, a blind medium, arrives. Using her supernatural abilities, Darcy begins uncovering the truth, which is anything but comforting. With its moody setting and slow burn tension, Oddity pulls you in completely. It delivers a masterclass in suspenseful horror, showing that the setting itself can be the most frightening character.
What is this? Put them back!
Remember the psychological hack we discussed? Placing the second best point first creates a subconscious pattern of rising value, compelling you to stay. This brings us to number 2, the Norwegian body horror gem, The Ugly Stepsister.
I'm going crazy.
Some horror films shock with blood. Others disturb with silence. But this Shudder original does both by reimagining the Cinderella myth through a grotesque feminist lens. The story follows Elvra Lehman, the ugly stepsister, determined to change her fate to win the prince's affection. She embarks on a horrifying journey of self-modification. This is not just gore. Elvra endures graphic surgeries, including a stitched eyelid scene that is almost unwatchable, and even swallows a tapeworm to get thinner. It's bizarre, unsettling, and captivates while hitting hard on the pressures of beauty and how far people will go to fit in. This movie alone exceeds every expectation you had coming into this list. We promised you films that shatter every expectation.
Lost my mind.
And at number 1, we have the true hellscape of Asriel. Which had me asking, wait, did anyone actually say anything? Set in a post-rapture world where speech is a sin and silence means survival, Asriel features Samara Weaving as a mute survivor hunted by a deranged cult. She's fighting her way through a ritualistic hellscape for humans who are prey for blood-sniffing ghouls. The wildest part is that it all unfolds without a single word spoken. The atmosphere is haunting, and the gore is beautifully brutal. While some call it an empty gimmick, others see it as a bold art house masterpiece. By forcing you to watch and listen to the silence, Asriel delivers the final, most differentiated vision of horror, making reality definitively beat expectations. We've just journeyed through 10 of the most bizarre and unconventional horror films currently streaming, proving that if you look hard enough, you can find cinema that absolutely shatters expectations. We analyzed how films like The Ugly Stepsister and Asriel masterfully use psychological tension to build toward a climactic peak. If you enjoyed seeing how these films maximize the build and surprise factor to deliver a terrifying payoff, then you need to see the other side of that coin, films that master pure, explosive cinematic release. The same principles of tension and reality apply to